Guys, welcome back. How's everyone doing today? It is a cloudy Tuesday in Minnesota, so we are drinking coffee at 4:30 in the afternoon because it's definitely needed. So today I wanted to get on here and talk about some shipping tips. Everyone I see on YouTube kind of talks about the same shipping ideas, but I don't agree with them. I think they're kind of bogus and they make everything so much more expensive. You definitely have better ways to save your money and expand your business versus paying expensive shipping fees. So we're going to talk about that today. I want to just say thank you to everyone who's been leaving me messages. I am the worst at editing and I'm still on my phone. And my microphone doesn't work, but we will get there eventually. So thank you for sticking in there with me, and I will leave a link to the full article about this video in the description box below. So we'll hop right in. Alright, so my first tip is to ship by sea. There is absolutely no reason you need to ship by air for your first order, okay? Let me tell you why. Shipping by air costs 3 times as much money. And you're not in a rush, you know, you're maybe excited, but this is not a necessary step. And when you are starting with a new product, your first order is going to be your most expensive because you're investing so much more money on ranking your product. So, you know, you need any leftover money possible. And if you're spending 3 times the amount for air shipping than you could be saving for sea shipping, you got to do it, you know. You have no time constraints right now because this is your first order. You know, you're not low on inventory and you need to get it in there quickly. So always pick sea shipping. All you have to do is talk to a great freight forwarder and they'll handle everything. And that brings me into my next tip. Tip number 2 is hire a freight forwarder and don't do shipping through your supplier. So when people talk about shipping through their supplier, I don't think they fully grasp that your supplier is still hiring a freight forwarder, but they are just taxing on a little extra service fee for finding that freight forwarder. They're not a freight forwarder because you have to go to like a logistics company. So unless they are massive and have, you know, their own department, but they are still going and finding a freight forwarder. They're just taxing on a service fee for finding that person and doing all the communication. So for the first time I was trying to find a freight forwarder, I just went on Alibaba and filled out a RFQ, which is request for quote. And I had a bunch of different freight forwarders contacting me. So based on communication, their prices, and how quickly they responded, I was able to quickly pick a freight forwarder. I gave the freight forwarder my supplier's contact information and just had them talk directly. I didn't need to be, you know, a third-party person involved in this communication because it was just communication based on like transferring the inventory, and that actually saves a bunch of time because, you know, if there's 3 people trying to communicate or you're trying to be the middleman, that's just going to take more time, especially since you're in a different time zone most likely. So when you are filling out an RFQ, one other note is you need to look at the company's age and reviews, along with how well they are priced and how well they are communicating. You definitely want to make sure that they have been doing this a while, so definitely check that out before, you know, you're just handing over your product to some random company, you know. One last tip with your freight forwarder, you need to do DDP shipping. So people think DDP shipping is like air shipping. It's not, it's just door to door. You can do like DDP Sea shipping, you can do DDP Air shipping. I do DDP Sea shipping, which means your supplier is responsible for your inventory the minute it leaves your manufacturer's warehouse, all the way shipping, all the way to the port, and all the way to Amazon's warehouse. So that's all that DDP means. It doesn't mean air shipping. So just wanted to throw that one. My next tip is to do an inspection. This is so important. I hear from a lot of like YouTube FBA coaches that you should be having your product shipped to your house. And I did that the first time and it really didn't make any difference. I'm not gonna lie, it was a waste of money, a waste of like a whole weekend for me, like going through checking this. Instead, you should be hiring an inspection company to spend 2 or 3 hours inspecting your product at random. So inspection companies, I was looking, they run $100 to $200. No big deal, because at the end of the day, you shipping it to your house is going to cost more in shipping because there'll be 3 stops for shipping. And what happens if the product's defective? It's not like you can return it unless you're gonna, I guess return a box to China, but that's gonna cost more in shipping. Like it makes no sense to get it shipped to your house, so you should be going through an inspection company, having them do a full write-up. If there's any defective products, either have your supplier cut that from your price, or they should be fixing it and putting in good product. Okay, another really common question people have is, how do I know which warehouse my inventory is going to? I had no idea at first. You have to create your shipping plan first. So this is the steps you need to go through. You need to make sure your production is done. Then you need to ask your supplier how many units per carton, how many cartons, what are the dimensions of those cartons that are going to be shipped, whatever country that your Amazon business is in. They need to give that to you. Then you go ahead and create your shipping plan, and then it will grab a location for you to send it to. That's when you need to export the barcode, because the barcode is going to go on the carton. And so when, your boxes are arriving at Amazon, they check in the entire carton, then they start going through and checking in each unit. Does that make sense? Another quick tip I have is you need to go ahead and research the crap out of Amazon's requirements. So if you are using poly bags, you need to make sure that you are putting a hazard label on it. If you are in certain categories, or if your product's breakable or sharp, there are certain prep requirements that you have to go through. You need to go ahead and look at this. You can find all this information in Seller Central. Also, there are certain things you need to put on your actual packaging. I have a full article talking about the things you should put on your packaging. I think only like 3 or 4 different things are required, but I have a full article going in depth about what you should be putting on your packaging. So I will link that in the description box below. But if you have any questions or you want someone to double check your packaging, I'd be happy to do so. Just email me at eBizwithLiz@gmail.com. So my last tip is that you need to track your package so you know when it's coming. You're not going to see any tracking differences while it's on a ship, but once it arrives to the port, you'll start seeing some logistics. Also, a really nice trick that I just found out on Seller Central is that you can go to settings, then inbound shipment notifications, and you can enable that. So anytime your product starts getting checked in, you're gonna get emails that, oh, your product's about to go live. I need to get everything finalized and ready to go. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I hope you found this helpful. Shipping does not need to be hard. It can actually be the easier part of the whole FBA process. Just hire a great freight forwarder and you'll be set. So I hope you guys found this information helpful. Consider subscribing, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, or you can personally email me at eBizwithLiz@gmail.com and I'll get back to you as well. I hope you guys have a fabulous rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.